Have you ever thought about how a single, quiet decision, just one, can completely redirect the course of your entire life? Well, that's exactly the kind of power we're going to unlock today. Okay, so picture this. We're in San Francisco. It's January 1st, 2026. A brand new year is just kicking off.
And the time? It's early, 5:47 a.m. The sun's not even up yet, and there's someone standing in front of a mirror. It's the same face they see every day, the same mirror. But in this moment, something fundamental shifts inside them. And get this, by the end of that year, their income has doubled, they've launched their own startup, and their whole relationship with fear totally transformed. So how did they do it? Let's dive in.
Now, I want to be super clear. This isn't about just, positive thinking or some kind of magical hope. We're going way beyond that. We're talking about a concrete process grounded in real science. It's called brain rewiring, and it's all about taking actionable steps based on how our brains actually work. Okay, so here's the big idea, the main premise. You can literally be the architect of your own brain. Think about that for a second. The words you say to yourself, they're not just empty sounds. They're tools, powerful tools that can physically reshape the neural pathways in your mind. And this isn't just a cool concept. It's backed by science. The term for it is self-directed neuroplasticity. It sounds complicated, but the idea is pretty simple. Neuroscientists, folks at places like Stanford, have proven that your brain isn't fixed. It's not set in stone. With conscious, focused effort, you can build new connections. It's like you're reprogramming your own mental operating system. All right, let's get practical. Let's pull out the first tool from our Neural Architects toolkit. This one is all about closing the gap between the person you are right now and the person you know you can become. So a lot of people try saying things like, I am successful. But here's the problem. Your brain might just reject that, right? It doesn't feel true yet. So instead, try this. I am becoming. See that tiny shift? It's so powerful. It creates a story of evolution, a journey. And that's a narrative your subconscious can actually get on board with and start working toward. And you don't have to just take my word for it. The data is incredible. An MIT study tracked a group of professionals for a whole year. And the group that used these future-focused identity statements, they had a 340% higher rate of completing their goals. That's not a small bump. That is a monumental, game-changing difference. Okay, on to tool number 2. This one is a big one. It's about fundamentally transforming how your brain deals with setbacks. We're talking about turning those moments of crisis into your greatest turning points. When you use this phrase, you're essentially training your brain's internal filter. We all have one. It's called the reticular activating system, and it decides what you pay attention to. This affirmation tells that filter, hey, stop just looking for threats. Start scanning for opportunities. It completely changes what you see in the world. Let me give you a real-world example of this in action. There was a tech engineer, right? They get laid off. Devastating for most people. But instead of spiraling into despair, their rewired brain sees it as a pivot point, an opening. Within just 48 hours, they're not moping, they're networking. And just 2 months later, they land a CTO role for double their old salary. The layoff wasn't an end. It became the catalyst for something so much bigger. All right, let's grab our third tool. This one is designed to tackle one of the biggest dream killers I know of, that paralyzing fear of not knowing exactly how to start. This simple statement, it's like giving your own nervous system permission to move forward, to act, even when you don't have all the answers laid out in front of you. Because let's be honest, every great adventure, every huge career leap, it all starts with a step into the unknown. This is the mindset that lets you take that step. And here's why that is so incredibly important. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon found something fascinating. High performers, they don't necessarily know more than anybody else. So what's the secret sauce? They have a 67% higher tolerance for uncertainty. That's it. They just trust themselves to adapt and figure things out as they go. Okay, tool number 4. This one is the sledgehammer for breaking down the mental prisons we often build for ourselves. It's all about creating a clear separation between your current situation and your ultimate potential. When you repeat this to yourself, you're sending a powerful message to your brain. Hey, where I am right now, it's just a data point. It is not a life sentence. This actually primes the planning part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, to start looking for new possibilities and escape routes. And you can see the effect this has. Think about a retail manager who felt completely stuck for 7 long years.
Once they adopted this mindset, they started taking small, concrete actions. It wasn't one giant leap, it was a series of steps. And within just a few months, that internal shift created a whole new external reality for them, their own six-figure consulting business. And that brings us to our fifth and final tool for today. This one is a direct assault on one of the biggest, sneakiest productivity killers out there: perfectionism. This is your mantra for building momentum. And let's be clear, this isn't an excuse to produce sloppy work. Not at all. It's about shipping good work consistently instead of hoarding some mythical, perfect work that never actually sees the light of day. You've heard it before, but it's true. Done is so much better than perfect, every single time. And if you need more convincing, just look at this data from the Harvard Business Review. The average professional wastes, get this, 23 hours a week on endless refining. That's more than half a work week. Just imagine for a second what you could build, what you could create if you got all of that time back. So here's the really cool part. This whole process, it doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It's already started right now. Just by listening to this, by processing these ideas, you've already started to fire and wire new connections in your brain. The transformation has already begun. So let's recap. You now have your first 5 tools to start architecting a brand new reality for yourself. You're going to build your future identity. You're going to reframe challenges into opportunities. You'll embrace uncertainty, shatter your own perceived limits, and always, always choose progress over perfection. So let me leave you with this question. That 2026 version of you, the one who achieves all those incredible goals you're dreaming of, they're waiting. They're waiting for you. Let's dive into how a really simple mental shift can totally rewire your reality just in time for 2026. So our first story kicks off in what is basically the pressure cooker of modern ambition, Manhattan. Just try to imagine the air there, you know? It's thick with this relentless drive to succeed no matter the cost. And it's right here that we meet our first person. So picture this, an investment banker, just completely burned out from averaging 89-hour work weeks. But look, this wasn't just about working hard. This person had a secret, deep down belief that suffering was the price of admission for success. That belief, that was a core part of their mental programming. And then they were introduced to this one single thought, an affirmation, right? A short, powerful statement that's designed to consciously rewrite a subconscious belief. Now, at first it felt like a total lie. It almost felt offensive to their work ethic. But every single morning they repeated it. This was the very first line of their new mental code. And the results? I mean, it was staggering. As you can see from this chart, within just 60 days of repeating that one phrase, their reported stress levels plummeted by 70%. It's just a brilliant illustration of how dismantling one single toxic belief can have these massive, measurable effects on your actual well-being. Now, this isn't just some nice, feel-good story. It's a powerful demonstration of a really fundamental principle. Your mindset, it's like an operating system for your life. And the best part is, its code can be rewritten. You know, we all have this mental programming. It's that invisible script that's always running in the background. Those subconscious stories we're constantly telling ourselves about money, about failure, about success. This is the operating system that dictates pretty much everything we do. So here is the absolute key. It is not enough to just think positively. You have to become an active architect of your thoughts. You have to deliberately design and then install the beliefs that are going to build the reality you actually want. And that investment banker, that was not an anomaly, not even close. So now, let's explore a few more stories of people who use this exact same method to get some truly radical change in their finances, their careers, and, well, their entire lives. Okay, next up, let's look at a freelance designer out in Denver. On the left, you can see their old code, their old belief. Money is scarce and my skills have a pretty low ceiling. But on the right, that's the upgrade, a new belief that directly connects their income to the value they create. This was their new line of code. And it did 2 really critical things. 1, it shifted their focus from getting money to creating value. And 2, it completely removed that subconscious block that money has to be a struggle. And the result of that? After just 6 months of installing this new belief, their annual income jumped from $47,000 to $180,000. They started attracting better clients, they raised their rates, all because they finally believed in the value they were providing. Okay, next, let's head over to a startup founder in Seattle. After her first company failed, she was just left feeling humiliated. Her default programming, what you see on the left, treated that failure like a permanent definition of who she was. The reprogrammed mindset, on the right, sees it as something totally different, just data.
This simple reframe, it is a superpower. Seriously. By repeating this, the founder literally trained her brain to extract the lessons instead of internalizing the shame. It turns what feels like a roadblock into a roadmap.
And this mindset isn't just some coping mechanism. It is a proven strategy. Research actually shows that the most successful founders in Silicon Valley failed, on average, 3.8 times before their big breakthrough. They learned that failure isn't the end, it's just part of the process.
So what about our founder in Seattle? Well, by treating her first failure as a data set, she built her next company on top of those lessons. And she raised $4 million in funding. That failure literally became the foundation for her greatest success.
Now let's check out a corporate VP in Chicago. On paper, this guy had it all. Corner office, huge salary. But in reality, he was miserable. He was running the achievement program. The shift for him was to stop chasing outcomes and start consciously building a life. This simple affirmation completely reoriented his entire decision-making process. He stopped asking, what do I want to achieve next? And he started asking, what kind of life do I actually want to live? The result was amazing. The same income, but a radically improved quality of life. Our final story is about an aspiring filmmaker down in Miami. Her dream was huge, but she kept it hidden because she was afraid it sounded delusional. And here's the thing, a hidden dream gets zero support. A claimed dream, on the other hand, acts like a magnet. This is an incredibly powerful line of code. By stating her goal out loud, she basically gave her network and, frankly, the universe, something concrete to respond to. All of a sudden, collaborators, producers, and funding opportunities just started to appear. So, these stories are incredible, right? But you're probably asking, how do I actually do this? How do I install this new operating system in my own mind? Well, the process is surprisingly simple. It's a 5-minute daily practice. The key is consistency and intention. First thing every single morning, and this is crucial, before your phone or the news can install the world's programming into your brain, you install your own. You say your chosen affirmations out loud. You write them down, you really feel them. And this isn't just wishful thinking, this is grounded in real science. There's a concept called neuroplasticity, which proves our brains aren't fixed. By consistently repeating a new thought, you are literally forging new neural pathways. You're strengthening the connections that support your new belief. Your brain is listening, and your subconscious adapts. You are actively programming your future. So, as we're heading into 2026, the choice is pretty clear. You can enter the new year with the same mental programming you've always had, or you can begin the rewiring process today. Listen, the people in these stories aren't special. They're not superhuman. They just understood that they are the programmer. Your future is being written right now.